You're watching EVH and Gear TV, brought to you by Design39 Media. Visit design39media.com for all your website, photography, and video production needs. Microphones for EVH and Gear TV are provided by Rode Microphones, and official Van Halen merchandise is provided by VanHalenStore.com. And now, here's your host from Ontario, Canada, EVH artist Eric Broadbent.
Hey everyone, happy Travel Tuesday to you all. Welcome to EVH and Gear TV. We are live, and I'm joined by a familiar face. We've invited him back. It was popular a couple times before. Stewart Guitar Company's CEO, Jim Reed. Jim, how are you?
I'm great. Glad to be here.
Awesome. I'm really happy to have you back. A lot of fans have been talking about the travel guitars over the several segments that we've done, some demos, obviously having you on before, and it's been a while, and a lot of things have changed since then, but just really happy to have you back.
It's great to be here, and you're right. There's a lot of things that have happened, and it's been exciting, so it's awesome to be here.
That's good.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, my pleasure. My pleasure. I was actually just when we were off camera, I was getting some sound levels with the Stowaway here in Helix. It sounded pretty good, so I'll maybe play a riff or two. Probably not a lot today because we're only going to do an hour segment, but at least we'll let people hear what these things can do. And a bunch of people jumping in the chat. We'll say hi to them quickly, and we'll come back to you several times throughout the program as well, too. Frank C. is here. Looking forward to the show. My beautiful Nocturnal Butterfly is here running the chat. And I'm on live chat. She always makes sure to tell everyone live chat, not top chat, because there's a difference. So we're on there. Mark Taylor's here. And yeah, so everyone's jumping in. We will continue on with people throughout the chat, throughout the program. But how's that heat spell been your way? I mean, you're in one of the hottest climates, period. I think we're getting some of your weather, but tell us what it's like your way.
Yeah, I think 104 we had today. So those of you who look at C, it's like 41 C. So very warm. There's no doubt about it. It's we're into the heat, and it's supposed to actually, I think, get a little hotter towards the end of the week. So yeah, no doubt about it. I have some friends in Europe that are in Finland, where I do a lot of travel over there, and actually even over there, they're in the high 80s, which is very, very uncanny. So I think summer is everywhere. So I think the summer travel and having your travel guitar with you is very in vogue right now.
That's the thing. That's what I was saying to you. I think it's it's kind of that good mood time of the year where people are in buying moods. You know, they're buying guitars. They are traveling. Whether you're buying a travel guitar or not, that's hopefully we're going to try to convey some of the excitement that you can have with that. But yeah, and we've been getting some of that unseasonable your weather up here too. But for now, it looks like for us for the remaining part of the week, we're on a cooler spell, which I can kind of dig.
Yeah, that's nice. Yeah. Yeah. Hopefully we'll get some more rain and we'll get some of those cool fronts coming in, get it down to 95 maybe, right?
Exactly. But the cool thing is that some of the feedback I've been seeing since our last few shows we've done with, indirectly with you and, talking about the guitars and that kind of stuff, there's been really good positive feedback from a lot of our fans, viewers, people that are new to the channel. And it's because it's something, first of all, it's a little unorthodox that I don't normally talk about. I'm usually talking about, like the Wolfgangs, or I'm talking about this or that, or Kramers and Line 6. But it seemed a lot of times people see me playing that guitar like, what are you playing there? Like, first of all, they see no headstock, right? And so that's an eye catcher. And they don't know if you're playing. Weird, huh? Yeah, you got it right there. Exactly. Yeah. And by the way, do you have a headstock tuner on that one?
I do actually. Yeah. I was going to show that. I don't know how well you can see that, but it actually does allow you to tune, and it stays on there and works just perfectly fine, just like any other headstock. So
that's right.
Use it all the time. Yeah.
I do. I have the same, not the same tuner, but I have the same thing set on mine right now. To carefully grab it so don't knock it off the stand. But I have a little D'Addario one. Where is it?
That's right.
Mm-hmm. Right there. So yeah, you can still use a headstock tuner on there.
Exactly right. It works perfect.
Yeah, they work,
which is nice.
It's all vibration, right? So just because there's no headstock there doesn't mean you can't tune with it. But so it's caused a lot of attention. People are asking, what is it? And then, of course, people want to see it or hear it. They want to hear it plugged in. Once you play it, and then you're like, wow. So first of all, it's not a toy. But one of our mutual friends become a mutual friend of yours now, and he's a regular of the show, Jared Frost. A big advocate of the Wolfgangs and all that kind of stuff. And I would have never thought he would have gravitated towards, I did, but he did as well too. And now look, we're mutual friends. So we're seeing some people from traditional styles really embracing this guitar.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. And a lot of the things that have been cool, we'll talk about later on, but you can put different options on the guitar pickup wise that I think people like. I mean, you could have it standard kind of what I call a Stratish type sound or single coil sound if you like that. But you can see on my right side, I have a electric blue one, which is a beautiful color. And that has a setup just like your Tobacco Sunburst one, where it has a humbucker in the bridge.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so there are different configurations, and a lot of the Van Halen guys that have dialed in have actually got two humbuckers. They have a humbucker in the actual neck in the bridge, so it gives a lot more fatter sound for the kind of things that you like to do. So makes a pretty versatile guitar. That's one thing that I wanted it to be versatile enough that people are comfortable with it. And we say performance quality, and also it needs to be something that feels like your everyday guitar, and that was some of the real philosophy behind putting this thing together. We didn't want it to be a toy like you talked about. We wanted it to be something that you could actually play and at the same time, easy to transport.
I agree, and we've talked about this in the show before when we've kind of touched base on the Stowaway. There's many travel type guitars out there. Some of them great. Each of them have all kind of some cool things in their own way. But a lot of times, sometimes people, like people for a Christmas gift or birthday gift, like, honey, what can I get you for your birthday? Here, I got you this little neck travel thing, whatever. And it's cute. It's cute, and the concept is cool. Like just like I don't even want to mention names because I don't want to mention the names wrong, and I certainly don't want to disrespect any products. But, it's something that the novelty will wear off very, very quickly. And you're left with, either a kind of an expensive gift that never gets used, or just the intention that was there, this kind of falls flat for a gift. You can spend a little bit more money and actually have a real instrument. And one of the things I'd like to, we'll jump into some misconceptions here in a moment after we talk a little bit about Summer NAMM and your experience there. But some people, unfortunately, get some misconceptions of how these guitars are manufactured. And I think we can set some air straight on some myths on that a little bit further into the program too.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it is a ground-up instrument. It is meant for this purpose, and it's not something that you're modding on an existing guitar and just throwing in an add-on. So,
That's right.
Yeah, we will talk about that. Yep.
Awesome, good. Thomas Santiago is here in the chat. Jared Frost, who we were just talking about, is here. He says, "Hey everyone,
awesome.
Jim and Eric." Little David Ennis is here. And quality is fantastic. They're worth every penny. Jared is saying. So that's coming from a person who's used to playing a lot of the guitars that you see a lot of us in the Van Halen circle play, and it's gravitated to something like that. And it's nice too. It feels different. It's one of those things where you can play on the couch, you can play on a chair, you can play on a plane, just about anywhere. But let's speaking of a little bit of a travel, let's talk about your recent visit to Nashville and Summer NAMM. Tell us about maybe some of the things that, before we jump into your product, maybe some cool things that you're like a kid in a candy store looking at, just some fun takeaways. I think you might have mentioned there were some interviews there, and then maybe how the buzz for Stewart was there.
Yeah, those are great questions to kind of go through. NAMM was great. The Nashville show, of course, is not as grandiose as the Anaheim or the LA show, but a lot of people there, a lot of traffic. There was obviously lots of guitars there. Gibson was there, which I was surprised because they actually were not in Anaheim, which was a big buzz because they're going through some of their financial issues. So they were there, and a lot of cool things. One thing that was something that was particularly fancied or piqued my interest, I should say, is looking at maybe amplification that I could take with me on a guitar like this. And so we talked a little bit offline on this, but the Boss Katana amp, they have a small one that is a really, really nice setup. There's several other ones too that were there that are small form factors that had nice tone, easy to use. Just a volume tone and overdrive, and then you just could plug the thing in and you can use it and take it with you. So that was neat. I did like the Boss products. Probably that was my favorite as far as those travel ones are concerned. As far as other features that I saw, I mean, there's a lot of modeling stuff that you're starting to see now, and some of it pretty good. Of course, the Helix stuff was there. I stopped and listened for a while at the Helix for all of the Line 6 stuff. And then, one of the other competitive products that was there that's pretty cool is the Kemper amp.
Oh, yeah.
That very, very cool. And I played around with that for a while. So it was neat. And, I was really surprised, too. There was a lot of pedal manufacturers that were there that had really cool small form factor pedals that had really nice tone. And for me, I like simplicity. Mm-hmm. For me, if there's more than 6 knobs on a pedal, I don't know. It's just a little bit too much for me. I'd prefer to have something that's a little easier. Give me a volume, give me, 3 tone knobs and an output, and let the pedal do what it needs to do. And I saw a lot of that. That was really neat.
Yeah, I think small form factor pedals are kind of becoming the crave, because people want to, if they're not using modeling, they still want traditional pedal boards. Real estate on that board is a hot commodity. Like these days of having, the wide multi, whatever you have on your board, you're competing with, like, let's say an MXR Distortion Plus, nice small footprint, and all these other small modular pedals. You need to go a small form factor. And I can see Summer NAMM especially being a hot ticket for that. Not that I'm trying to stereotype certain, musical styles and whatnot. I just think it would be very popular at Summer NAMM in Nashville.
Yeah, it was, because, of course, you walk, I don't know, half a mile, and you have, it's almost like the same kind of setup that you have in Austin, Texas. There's one club after the other. And, these people have form factors that are staged that are not large. I mean, they're smaller than my shop here by far.
Yeah.
And some of the clubs are really small. So, you can't have a pedal board that is 5 feet by 3 feet and be plopping that thing down in the middle of the stage, because you won't get your band on there. So
that's right.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
I was going to say, have you ever seen Vernon Reid's pedal board from Living Color?
Yes.
Yeah, so you're not going to get too many Vernon Reid pedal boards in clubs of that size.
No way. No way. In fact, actually, I travel with one of those MXR Badass. It's a nice distortion pedal, and it's real light, and I throw it in there because it's, it does the job for that kind of thing. So anyway, I saw those there.
Well, that's cool. And while you're there too, now this is kind of a cool thing as well. Now, I don't know the full details on it. You gave me a little bit of a synopsis of it. You were just doing your thing there, whatever, and all of a sudden someone approached you and asked about an interview, if you'd be interested in doing a little bit of a story. Tell us about that.
Yeah, that was outstanding. There were several people that did this. Some of them, one guy was with actually an organization. If you're playing live and you're doing maybe your own kind of gigs, and you have like an iPad or something like that there, and you like to have hands-free, obviously, they play the guitar. They did some videos, and then later on, I went down, and there was a magazine. It's called Guitar Girl magazine. Great folks there. The Lows are the last name, L-O-W. And they interviewed me. And you wanted to know all about the guitar, for the form factors, and for a lot of these people that are touring. And, your audience as well, there's a lot of women that are involved. And not necessarily that it has to be light for a woman to carry it, but, I mean, just like anybody else, if you're trying to take something like this and you'd like to play on the road, you'd rather have something in the small, as you say, pizza box type backpack. So they were very interested in that. They interviewed me on that, and we'll be doing some press releases with that magazine, et cetera. So that was really cool. Yeah.
I know Jennifer Batten has said this multiple times, and I'm not just saying this because she's a female guitarist. She has said if the stuff doesn't fit in her suitcase, she won't take it. So, like, that comes to, because she's using, I think, like the Blue guitar amp, those things like that, a couple pedals, whatever, and it literally has to fit in her suitcase. No matter how good it is, if it doesn't fit, she won't take it.
Yep.
It has to feature light travel.
Yeah, because there's a lot to that, and I travel a lot, and we talked maybe a little bit about that. Let's see, last year I did 187,000 miles in the air plus, which is a good bit, and then this year I've already done 60,000. So. Yeah, I mean, and I love taking my guitar with me. So if I'm doing business meetings with the company and I'm doing other things, I mean, I have other things that I have to take with me, and I don't want to not have my guitar to kind of work on my chops, So and do some playing to kind of keep my sanity, right? We all love to play, so
that's right.
With that, if I can't take it with me, and it's easy for me to take with me, and I have to check luggage, or I have to get some kind of a very expensive, heavy flight case like you would use on a world tour or something like that, that's just not real conducive for taking a guitar with you. So
I agree. I just had to look at the guitar for a second because I wasn't sure if I was crazy or not, but I find on the bottom of this guitar, it's got a little bit of a flat bass, as more, show yours for a second.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, exactly. Yep. Right. Yeah.
And what I like about it, it almost becomes its own natural guitar stand. And what I like about that is, okay, like you say, take it everywhere, and you always got to be practicing. And I know this drives my little guy crazy, Junior. He'll say, "Can you want to watch me come play a video game, whatever?" And okay, no problem. But what do? I grab a guitar. So I always have to be multitasking. Now, I'm not going to be playing through an amp necessarily, but I'll play on the couch. And a lot of times I'll take this guitar and I'll stand it against a wall out by the couch. So if I don't have to run back to here to grab a guitar, I've got one out there. And the more you're playing guitar, you know, it's a good thing. It's a good day when you're playing guitar more. And this thing is good for that because you can take it anywhere. It's got almost like its own little, it's a bonus of having a stand. It stands up against the wall nice. No headstock to sit improperly and want to tip and fall. So I like that a lot.
That's right. Yeah, it is nice, and you know, it's not real heavy.
No.
So also it's pretty easy, and you know, like we've talked about a lot, and you know, maybe you will play it a little bit as we're through this. I thought the finishes on the this was actually a special color here. This is actually a cherry sunburst one that we have now, and you know, I think the finishes are great for people. So. Anyway, it's really worked out well, and it's a lot of fun, and it's easy to never be without your instrument. I mean, that's one of our taglines from the company, is that never be without your instrument. And that's just it. Why should you be without your instrument? And I guess my take on the whole thing is that I love playing guitar. I've loved it, you know, all my life, all that I can remember almost, since I'm 11 or 12 anyway. And if you have a bunch of guitars that you love and you play regularly with, why not have one of these in your arsenal, you know, so you can have it to practice, and at the same time, it has the same feel as your other guitars, so you're actually adding to your proficiency.
I agree with that. Having that little familiar home, you know, comfort zone. A lot of us get in our comfort zones with our amps, our effects, our guitars. And when you feel like you're bringing home with you, then you know, it's probably going to be a better performance for you as a practice session or just jam or whatever the case may be.
Absolutely.
A few people in the chat are commenting on some of the amplifier choices, and I think I was Frank C saying the Boss Katana Air looks really cool for travel. That mini katana is very, very cool. And someone else, Jared, said the Roland Mini Cube tone is unmatchable, or bias effects on your iPad. Yep, I agree with that. That's kind of what got me into modeling was the Jam Up Pro, which they started with, and then bias effects and bias amp and things like that. I've seen a lot of people. I've never played through one, but a lot of those Black Stars, the little mini Black Stars and stuff, is small as well too, and some of them sound pretty darn good, I guess.
Yeah, I actually that's one I forgot. I'm glad you brought that up. I did play through one of those Black Stars at the NAMM show in Nashville, Summer NAMM, and those are pretty nice. And again, it's pretty simple. You know, all of these ones that you mentioned, they're simple. Yeah, that's what you want. And I actually use an iPad or my iPhone even to do stuff with, because I have that with me all the time anyway. And you know, for playing. You know, with a track, or maybe setting up some loops to do some practicing if you're working on different scales, or you're looking at different kind of modes that you want to play with through different chord progressions or what have you. You can easily, you know, run a bass line through there, have a nice drum track that's very easy that you pull out of the, you know, arsenal of stock drum tracks, and then, you know, you put a cool little rhythm to it, you know. And then you start soloing to it, and you can just loop it. So you do 8 or 16 measures of something that you like, and I mean, you have your headphones on, and it's amazing how good the sound is on that for just being a device that you actually, you know, bought to talk on.
I know. Well, see, the thing is, a lot of times you'd know this more so than me. You travel a lot, and other people that watch the show probably travel, you know, anywhere between like next to nothing and moderate. A lot of times where you're traveling, you may be for some kind of a business thing, whatever, there may not be a lot of luxury. You get to go see the sights and sounds of the city. You know, it's basically get there, hurry up and wait, do your meetings, hurry up and wait, and then flight home, whatever. So be able to, you know, there's only so much you can watch on TV or so many video games you can play in the hotel room. Guitar is a very nice thing to pass that time, and you feel like you're still at home as well.
Absolutely. I mean, I love my family and all the things that you do, but I think all of us can identify with a lot of times when you're actually on the road, and if you are back after meetings and you're in your room, you can actually get, you know, maybe an hour or two of absolutely uninterrupted playing. And that one song that, you know, you've always liked, or maybe you're crafting some new tunes, or you're writing, or whatever that it might be, and you like to get those licks just right. And it's really cool to be able to do that. It really gives you an opportunity to do it. I even do it. I'm going to be going on vacation next week, and I always take it with me. So I'll take it with me, and when Miss Donna is getting ready to do whatever that we're going to do, and I'm waiting.
Yeah, because we always do, right? We always do.
I'm playing, you know, which is cool. So I love that.
That's right. Yeah, when the better half says they're getting ready, that means you have enough time to set up the guitar, play, Pink Floyd, complete, you know, all that stuff.
Dark Side of the Moon from the beginning to the end.
That's right. Yep. And then by that time, the hair might be done. I shouldn't say that because I'm just as bad.
But no, but you can utilize that time and you have it with you. I mean, there's many times I think all of us that are guitar players will say, boy, that was kind of the impetus for this business actually. And the guy Stewart, who kind of came up with the initial idea, Woody Stewart, that I talked about before, I connected with him to get a guitar because I was frustrated that I couldn't play. People would ask me to play in Dallas, and you want to go into the gig and you want to be somewhat prepared. You leave to go somewhere for a week right before the gig, and you didn't anticipate that a couple of weeks before, and then you show up to the gig cold.
Yeah.
And that's, not cool, especially if you try to be, professional at it. So, so it's been really, really nice to be able to have that. And that's kind of the thing that was my passion about this, is I want people to have that outlet and help people that want to play and make it not be a nuisance for them to take a guitar with them.
I agree, and I'm gonna kind of skip ahead a little bit because you said something really important there. You've talked about the passion, and I talk about that here on the show a lot of times with CEOs and some of the corporate people, the corporate staff, through the Helix show, through EVH show, and whatnot. I just had Paul Shedden on from Mission Engineering on Sunday for the Helix Hour, and talking about companies can work so many years, sometimes not really turning over or making a profit yet, but you're still in it. I'm not saying that about you. I'm just saying about this particular company, and a lot of times you go through those things as long as there's passion there. You see the end game. There's going to be a reward at the end of that. That it's not a race, right? It's a marathon, and you're in there for the long haul. But I see that with you, the fact that the passion that you have for the guitar. Number one, you saw a need for a product. You are the consumer as well. You needed something like this. You just happen to be the manufacturer too. But now you have a vision for it. It's something that hasn't gotten old. You've been doing it for a while now. How long have you been in the game?
Well, we actually launched in October, but there was about a 1.5 year period prior to that trying to get the manufacturing piece together. Because obviously, if you can't provide guitars to the masses, then it's not any good for anybody. I mean, yes, you could have a guitar that's some one of one and you sell 7 of them, in the lifetime of the guitar company. But I mean, something that you want to be able to actually get to the people to use. So it has been a little while that I've been working on it. And like you said, it could get old and you could kind of get disgruntled with it. But, we pushed through and we got all that done. And, I'm very excited now because as the buzz of the guitar kind of gets out there, that's the thing that I think word of mouth for people. I have some people that are actually out in the field playing the guitar every night. They're using it as a main guitar that they're playing, which is really cool. I can talk more about that later on if we want, or we can go into that now. But I mean, but the bottom line is that's the kind of thing that you want, is that once people see it, like yourself, you love playing the guitar and you see it. Jared has been another advocate, and it's been awesome because that to me is very satisfying to actually see the guitar in people's hands and actually say, hey, this is actually something I like to have, and I see value in this guitar in my arsenal of collection.
I agree 100%, and the fact that too, number one, some people get ideas, and I've had many ideas, and then you start thinking about it when you start to go into either a manufacturing process or even a prototype, and you're like, okay, that was a cool idea in theory, but in practicality, no. Where you've gone through this as well too, you've gotten past that fact that okay, this is a cool idea. I compare your guitar. We talk about this a lot with any of the guitars that have Floyd Roses, with Adam Reaver with his Futone company, FU Tone, and he manufactures third-party products for guitars, kind of like to hot rod them, and one being brass products, titanium products, and things like that for the bridges. Now, when you stick that product in your guitar, you have this wow factor. Jared will tell you that when you guys hook up, he will tell you that, and he'll play one of his guitars that's been Futone. You're going to go, wow. Your guitar has that. When you show someone snapping that neck on, click, click, tune, 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 play, that wow factor is right there. And there's no sales pitch. There's nothing you can say to sugarcoat that. You just have to put it together, hand it to them, and tune. And you explain that. I'm sure you've seen it a million times.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's the differentiator with this. I mean, it is a full scale guitar. It has a full size body on it, and even the neck. There's a couple other ones that are like that, but then you either have a weird body on it, or sometimes you have a neck and it has a seam in it, or it has some. It's not full scale and all those sort of things. And those were the things that were really attractive to me, that I wanted to kind of, eliminate from the solution of the travel guitar being something that we have to take lots of concessions in having that guitar. So when Woody came up with this idea, Woody Stewart, he thought through a lot of those things, and we put these all together. And as I said, I think it's awesome. It provides a solution, and it is unique. And like you said, it has that wow factor, as you talked about, where people go like, "What? What? You took that off like that? I mean, that's crazy. Yeah, you shouldn't be able to do that."
I know.
I mean, yeah, and it's nice that it stores right in the body. That's the cool thing too.
I love that. And you could actually have a booth at NAMM and just have a mannequin with a guitar with a strap hanging around a mannequin. You wouldn't even have to be a salesperson there. Just, gently pick up the guitar and give it a try, and then fill out the form. We'll contact you to place your order.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, that's been good.
Over in the chat, Charlie S. is here saying, hey, everyone. Mark Taylor's here saying, Frank Corcoran is here as well, too. Mark Taylor says, travel guitars rock. And if you guys see me playing with my ears a lot during the show, I am trying some new in-ear monitors that just are not 100% sitting in my ears, so I'm not going crazy. I'm just trying to set my in-ear monitors. Mark Taylor says, travel guitars rock. I have a different brand, but it's really nice and the overhead bin on an airplane. For sure. And that's the thing. There's many brands out there. And Frank C says, I'm on the road about once a month. That's quite often. And I used to be a lot. When I worked for the radio stations, I never flew, but I was on the road all the time for work, different radio stations. Why does it take us guys half the time to get ready, he says. That's from Frank. I don't know. That's hilarious. It's kind of true, but I don't want to get myself in trouble. Oh, no makeup. That's from Nocturnal Butterfly, so that's a start.
That is true. Yeah,
but you know what? You girls look so great when you do your thing, so I think it's a worthy wait. And then we can play some guitar in the meantime, so...
That's right.
No problem
That's
there. Right. Jared Frost has plugged the iRig right into headphone jack and these apps, and you're ready to go. Nocturnal says, not to mention the moisturizing nails, perfuming, and all the other goodies. Chad Boston is here saying, hi, Eric, you rock. He says, do you ever sleep? No wonder the butterfly is nocturnal. And I think we're in the same boat. I'm not tired yet. Can't seem to turn off. And Frank says the neck is quite comfortable as well. And so I want to jump over to, I saw some posts on your Facebook group, on the company's Facebook group a while back, and some misconceptions. And you and I talked about this in private as well, too. A lot of times people, when they're afraid of something, let's say they're afraid of computers, and they just don't know how to work a computer, they're intimidated by them, they're going to say they suck, and, they're going to attack, because we don't know, right? We put up defensive walls. And there's been a couple individuals who have come at this guitar with the defensive gloves on, ready to box match, and they're saying that, like, how dare you? I don't want to maybe use the word bastardize a guitar. You're tearing apart a guitar to make it a travel guitar, and maybe share with us how that's completely the opposite. How manufacturing goes the opposite way.
Yeah, that's very true. First of all, the design. If you look at the back of the guitar here, obviously the cavity and the way that that's put together is totally different. Quite honestly, although this is Strat type looking guitar, the body is slightly a different shape. I did that on purpose because I didn't want it to be exactly the same. Just copywriting and all those kind of things. Even though I know there's all kinds of copies that are out there and nobody cares, but I wanted to be a little different.
Yep.
So that's different. And then, of course, if I take this neck apart, which I might do here just to kind of show you what I'm doing here, this whole inside piece here that you might be able to see here is totally custom. So the heel of the neck and everything else, I mean, they're built from the ground up, and the necks are made special for this guitar, etc. It has this metal insert in here that will go tongue and groove into the actual other part of the body of the guitar, and it just makes it all work. And if you don't do it, it's kind of like a puzzle, and if all the pieces aren't very precisely made, it's not going to work.
Yep.
And that's all it's to it. So so it has to be made very diligently, and it has all together, and every part of it has a very specific need. And when I first started looking at this guitar with Woody, one of the things he told me is he said it has to be done precisely, because if it's not, it won't play right. And the second thing is, the functionality of it going together and coming apart just will not happen.
Yeah, so that part has been perfect. Now, I've had mine, has it been since probably the late fall of last year.
Yeah.
Does that
Yeah.
sound
Late
about right?
fall. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Now I've played it quite a bit. I haven't broken a string on it yet. I find tuning stability, which is crazy. Tuning stability is great. Well, actually, it has like the Graphtec saddles too, right?
It does. Yeah, it does, and that helps with the tone. I think it helps with the sustain. It gives a little warmer feel, and quite honestly, there's other reasons for that as well. Graphtec, the graphite is a little more resistant to friction, if you will.
Yep.
And if you look, that's another thing with the way this is set up. It's hard to maybe see from here, but you see the saddles there, and the actual strings come through to the bottom of the guitar, so it has to come all the way through to the bottom.
Yes.
And it's a little bit of an angle to come through there. And if you have a standard metal bridge system on there, especially with the wound strings, the lower strings, that's going to kind of catch on there. And then tuning, you're going to have to like use a wrench, or you're going to strip the tuning assemblies and all that sort of thing. And the tuning stability will probably, if you've ever done the trick in the nut where you put like the graphite in the nut to allow it to slip so it doesn't like jerk from one pitch to the next pitch. I think probably everybody's done that as a guitar player, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's the same kind of concept of having those Graphtec saddles. They slide on there very nice because it's locked at the top, so the tuning is all down here.
That's almost like Eddie Van Halen's new guitar. He's just brought out the new Eruption, like the vintage throwback of his, classic '78 guitar. The actual deluxe case comes with like all these goodies, and one of the things is a can of 3-in-1 oil.
Yeah, exactly.
For the brass nut and stuff. Yeah.
Yep, exactly.
We used to always do that. Take the pencil and the shavings, and we put it in the nut to try to keep it in tune. We file it out, and then we get our nuts too deep, and then the action would be buzzing on the first couple of frets. Like all the tricks we had to do. But I agree with that with the Graphtec saddles. Number one, it does help with the tuning stability, but it also is kind of a string saver too.
It is. It is absolutely right. In fact, I think that they actually called some of the Graphtec saddles, and maybe even this model, the string savers.
Okay.
For that reason.
Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. I have that also on a Line 6 guitar. I have it's actually a full Graphtec bridge as well, but it's a Floyd Rose, and it's fantastic. So it's good stuff. They manufacture good bridges.
They do.
Yeah.
They do. There's something to do with the actual resonance of the graphite also that is pretty special.
Yeah, I like that. And then
Yeah.
like a long-term thing. I mean, this is just icing on the cake. But whether you have a kind of a brass coated bridge, chrome type bridge, whatever, oxidation and corrosion, you're probably not going to see that near as much, if at all, in the Graphtec.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Because I mean, your hand is back there, and we all, especially these types of things, you're doing the muting on the the palm muting on the right side, and you like having it right against there. And over time, a standard metal bridge can pit and get looking nasty and all that. And these stay really nice.
Yeah, they look
no
new.
doubt
They
about
look new from the day you get them to eternity, basically.
That's right. Yeah. So that's a nice feature.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about this. Is kind of cool. You shared this with me a while back through Facebook. You're telling me about I forget what it was, but one of the international airlines, whatever, they actually featured Stewart, the guitar company, in the magazine. Do you have one of them handy, or can you tell us about it?
Yeah, I actually do. Actually, if I can bend over here, pardon my bending down, but. Yeah, this was actually in American Way magazine, okay, which is American Airlines magazine.
Okay.
And the I don't know how well you can see that, but the Stewart guitar in there as a Father's Day kind of gift was in there. We put the Tobacco Sunburst just incidentally. It seems like from all of our fans and customers that the Tobacco Sunburst, which incidentally is the one that you have, Eric, is the most popular color. Believe it or not, of all the colors that I have.
Isn't that cool?
So yeah, that was really cool, and I fly on American quite a bit, so it was kind of cool to open it up and show people that we were actually in that magazine. So we're going to do more of that sort of thing. As I said, there's quite a few opportunities. When I was in Nashville, I connected with some people, and they're very involved in the kind of acts. Obviously, this is a different genre than the genre that are all EVH fans like myself, but they actually are a lot of upcomer artists in the Nashville area especially, and there's a couple guys that are in the area that I connected with that were all these guys are going to be kind of promoting the instrument, and one in particular that I've been talking with a while, he uses my guitar, as I said, and he will be actually, well, he plays it every night, but he actually will be on the main stage of the one of the big clubs in the the biker thing with the what is it called? Sturgis.
Sturgis, you were saying,
Yeah. And Iron Horse Saloon, I believe, is one of the biggest acts that's there. And there's an act that's a country act that he's very, very big, Tyler Farr. And this act will be actually opening for them. And they play every night. They're full time. And I might have mentioned this before, but he's actually using a Stewart Stowaway, a tobacco sunburst one. It doesn't have humbuckers. It's all single coil he likes.
Okay.
But anyway.
Yeah, for that style, there's nothing wrong with that. When I looked at the color options, like you have everything. You can pretty much satisfy just about everyone's craving for a color. But like you say, the sunburst is one of the most popular colors. I looked at it for two reasons. One, my very first Strat copy as a kid was called a profile guitar, and it turns out I found out I think they're a Canadian company or something, or were. I'd love to find one again. It wasn't an expensive guitar by any means. It's probably a couple $100, but it looked like the real Fender Strat. I mean, it probably a lawsuit. That's how good it was. You know what I mean? It was
of course.
Now,
yeah.
I think the electronics were bad and stuff like that as well too. But I'm thinking, you know what? If I have a choice here, I've got all kinds of other flashy color guitars. I want that rich looking, I'll say a Stratocaster style S-type. We'll say just to be safe. And I don't doubt now that you say that's one of the most popular colors, because it's a chameleon guitar. It can fit, you can be the rock guy in the rock band, and you can still be the country guy or girl, and it kind of speaks volumes, I think.
Yeah. It's been fun, and as I said, when you kind of decide what you want to do, you want to have enough variety for people. But on the same token, sometimes people come in and they want really bizarre kind of color combinations, and I wanted to try to have a happy medium there where you don't have too many strange things, but at the same time give a nice variety. So that's why we did these limited cherry sunburst ones, because I think they were pretty cool. So we added that. I
like that, and I would have to say that would probably be my second favorite. Is that what Jared got?
No, Jared actually got black one.
Oh, he got a black one. That's right. I forgot. Okay, there you go.
Yeah. He got the black, which I think I have one here. I don't know if I can reach it.
Yeah,
I can. Yeah, I can. And this is that's another thing that we do too. Yeah, here's the black one. This is kind of what Jared.
Oh yeah,
got.
right. There you go.
Except for Jared's, actually, he got the aged cream, and of course he has what I call the Rock Monster setup. There's actually been half a dozen or so guys on the show that have got that, where I talked about it's a standard double humbucker here, but then it's a lace humbucker that's in the bridge.
Yeah.
And that's what we did for his. And he has cream, and it all matches. It's a sharp-looking guitar. Really looks nice.
Yeah, I've seen him play it, and he does an amazing job on it. Speaking of Jared, he's got a couple comments here as well too. Dan Wilhite's here saying, yo, what's up, guys? Where are we traveling to? Wherever you'd like to go. It's imagination travel tonight.
That's right.
Reminds me a lot of a Steinberger. I can see that as well too. Aljan Go is here. Good friend Aljan. Thanks, Aljan, for jumping in. Nice to see you, buddy. Jared Frost says, I put red strings on mine, and he has a really good comment here as well. He puts 10s on his. Jim, you really thought of everything that any tone chaser guitar enthusiast would ever want, not just for travel, but for an all-around good playing guitar. That nails it for sure, because just because we're saying this is a travel type guitar, that just means it's easier to take this guitar with you.
That's right.
Yeah.
That was the idea. And Jared, thank you for that. I'm glad, and knowing the genre of music and your ability as a player and all of that means a lot. But that was the target that we were trying to hit. And that's what I hope that people will see. And what I would ask all of the fans out there, and I appreciate all of you have tuned in, and any questions that you have, feel free to get with me and send me messages or talk to me or what have you. Eric knows how to get in touch with me. But the main thing that I would love to see is, tell people about us. Tell people that there is an alternative out there, because as was said earlier, nothing against any of the instruments that are out there. I think there's a lot of instruments that, meet the need for certain people, or those instruments would be successful. But for me, I wanted something that actually could be something you can literally take on a plane, get off, take just like the woman artist that you were talking about. I can't remember her name, but take a couple pedals, sit down, put those in front of you, take your guitar out, tune it up, and play, and have a rockin' gig, and not feel like you had to settle.
That's right. And here's something too. Like you're saying, you spread the word a little bit. You yourself, any company could spend $1 million or more on advertising, and people don't I think they don't get the value of spoken word, telling your buddy about guitars. Say, hey,
right.
I saw this guitar, this travel guitar. Saw it on the show, or I saw it at NAMM, or saw it whatever. Tell your buddies about it. Spread the word. Even things like with my show, as much as, I would think things get shared out there, if people talk about it, there's many, many people that don't know about these things. Share it and enjoy it, and people will see your passion in this guitar. When I'm saying you, I mean the general public will see the passion that you have in this product. And we're seeing it here in the chat. I mean, we've obviously got Jared, who's a champion for the company as well, too. But Frank C's here saying as well, too. He says, I love my Cherry Burst. Jim put a tone zone in mine. I love that pickup. So, I mean, really, it's a la carte now. It's become kind of a la carte where, okay, here's our basic. And then you want to hop it up. You want to go sky's the limit. You want Perloid. You want this. The options are there.
That's right. That's right. And just before I forget, you can see in the background there, or hopefully you can see that, if you go ahead and you watch this show, go ahead and put in that code and you'll get $50 off on a Stowaway. So just wanted to make sure that everybody knows that.
Thank you. So EVH 2018, is that what it was? Thank you. So you go to stewartguitars.com. It's been posted in the chat a couple times by Nocturnal Butterfly, and also give them a like on Facebook. You can see their page there as well too, and interact with the fans and customers. But $50 is $50, especially today. That's right. Yeah, thank you for doing that for our viewers. I appreciate that.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we've had a great relationship, and I appreciate all of the the love that I got from the whole team. It's been a great community, to use the buzzword of community, but it's really been good.
I like it. Yeah, the people here, we're a small family, and I love that. Where it's a few 7,000 people, but we're a small family, and we all love guitar. Probably about 90% of that population loves Eddie Van Halen, and the rest are here indirectly because someone forced them to subscribe to my page or something. I don't know what it is, but we're a small family. We love guitar, and it's nice to chat about this kind of stuff. And I think you could talk about guitar every night of the week here, and people would never get bored.
Yeah, it's fun, and there's so many stories that you can have with the instrument. When I go on the plane and I will take it apart a lot of times, and I'll sit and there's been some people that have said, oh, I don't want to be disturbed by somebody playing the guitar and all that, and I'm always very cognizant of that. I would never do that because I use the headphones and you really can't hear it. But the staff on the airplane always comes up and they say, you got to be kidding me, how does that work? And it really creates a cool buzz for just guitar playing in general. I mean, the instrument is a vehicle to kind of do some of the things that you want to do with guitar, which I think is outstanding. Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
I can. Let me jump back over to our screen. One sec. Yeah, I was just saying to the audience here, I was going to say that was a question I was actually going to ask you, is if you got any weird, unique kind of like looks or eyebrows or whatever from some of the in-flight staff. I think it's almost going to be something you should try to see, get a picture with the captain or something with your guitar and stuff. That'd be awesome.
Oh yeah, absolutely. There's lots of things like that people say, and other people on the flight and everything, and that's what I was kind of going for. Is that what's really neat is that it kind of shows about guitar playing, and it kind of almost raises interest in it. I think that's cool because with the kind of music that we like, I think it's really.
Sorry, you still there?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, yeah, I think the connection was on my end this time. It doesn't usually happen, but I think it was on my end.
Okay.
But anyways, I think I'm not sure, we lost you a little bit, but there's a question here that's a very good question from Dan.
There we go.
Okay, there we go. We back? I think we're okay, hopefully?
Yeah.
Okay. So the question was, or hopefully I don't lose you. So thanks for your patience, everyone. We're approaching close to the hour here. Anyways, but Dan at Wilhite was asking, is it something that is in the forecast down the road to be in music shops, or?
Yeah, I could do some distributors. Right now, it's just only online. I'm looking at that kind of thing. I want to find the right team that would kind of represent the instrument properly. So I might do some stuff with the distributors. Music stores, not close to that at this point. I'd like to kind of keep it the way it is for right now. But the distribution is very easy. I ship anywhere. I've shipped lots of guitars all over the world, and you should get it, within a 10-day period maximum. In many cases, you'd have within a couple days.
Awesome. There's a fellow here in the chat. He's a really good guy. You should reach out to him. Just kind of touch base with him. He's a super guy, Chad Boston. Now, I met Chad through the Helix community. He runs Helix Family of Products Facebook page, like over 15,000 people. Great group, friendly group. He also runs various forums as well too. He's saying, this is something I'm just going to mention right now. He's saying he'd like to carry this on his site. He runs gearbyseba.com, and he sells not competing products by any means, nothing when it comes to guitars. but stuff, for, amplification, skins for different modelers, everything from like your, Helix to everything. But if it's ever something you want to look at to get into the hands of great guitar players that know stuff as well too, I'll certainly share the contact information with you with him. He's a really, really good guy.
Yeah, do that. I would be very interested in that.
Yeah.
You back?
Yeah, I think so. So sorry about that horrible connection.
No,